Hello. Welcome to In the Loop Lupus Live with Lupus in Color. Please excuse us for being about a minute tardy. I see that we have some spammers coming into this particular live stream. So I've been trying to make sure that we don't have any issues with people coming in the room that don't need to be here. But I want to welcome you all to In the Loop Lupus Live with Lupus in Color, where we share Lupus Warrior Stories and empower Lupus Warriors one butterfly at a time. We have a special guest coming in today. Her name is Endurance, and we are just waiting on Endurance to come through. And once I see her in the background, I will bring her up and we will start talking to her about her story. And you've heard her story a little bit before, but we're going to get a catch up and find out what's going on with her now. So, in the meantime, and in between time, I am going to talk to you a little bit about being who you are beyond lupus, and not allowing someone else's idea of you to form a way for you to be for them. Does that make sense? So I know sometimes, and this happened to me when I was first diagnosed. Sometimes it's so hard to get out of the mode of living for someone else because you want to seem strong and resilient. And I don't know, something was on my heart today that somebody needed to hear this. And that somebody probably was me. Hey Tawanda, hi everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Drop us a thumbs up or say hello so that we can acknowledge that you are here. Uh as we wait for Endurance to log on. Endurance is actually in a different country, and so it might take her a little bit to come on. So in the meantime, let me just talk about what I'm talking about. If you have any questions that you really have on your heart today, go ahead and shoot them in the comments so that we can really answer them and get you an answer from someone that might be on. Hey King Jaja, how are you? I'm hoping that Endurance will be on soon. If not, we'll just continue talking. So I was talking about living for someone else. Excuse me. Living your life in a mold for someone else. What do I mean by that? A lot of times we don't allow people to understand or see what's happening with us with lupus. Sometimes we really live our lives for someone else. We live our lives to make sure that our family doesn't see us in a bad situation. We live our lives um, to make sure that our kids don't see us weak. We live our lives in a way that we are always living to please someone else. And there comes a time in your life that you stop really looking at what other people say about you or what other people want to see in you. There comes a time in your life where you really sit down and you learn yourself and learn exactly what you need to do to make you happy. And I think sometimes on this lupus journey, we kind of forget that. We kind of forget that we need to be happy. We need to live for us. We need to live for the happiness within us. We need to live for our own joy and not to protect someone else. And a lot of times I think that As we're trying to seem strong, we're often looking for different things like validation. We're trying to put on a mask so that people can relate to us and don't see us as a complainer or a whiner. Absolutely, Tawanda, absolutely. No validation. Absolutely. Nobody has to validate your walk. No one has to validate what you're going through. You have to validate who you are as you battle lupus. You have to make sure that you are doing what's right for yourself and not just doing what's right to show people that you're strong. So, as we're waiting for endurance to log on, it's really hard to stop living in the mold of someone else. Let me get my fam together here. It's so hard to live and not try to save your family from seeing you being sick or try and save your friends from not seeing what lupus really does to you. It's hard to get out of that mode of putting up a front so that other people feel safe around you. And we have to get to the point in our lives that we realize we are the most important person on our lupus journey. And the only way that we can really understand how to go about our lives and joy for ourselves is to really begin to live for us. So I mean that's something that was on my heart earlier. I'm not sure where it came from. um I think sometimes even I do it. You put up this mask and you want people to think that, oh, it's okay, I got this, I can handle it. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you're in pain. Sometimes you're not even mentally in the right space to even be around people, but you put on that mask and you suck it up. And then you get home and you're like, whew, I am worn out, like emotionally, physically, mentally. I'm just worn out. So it's just so hard to do that, but it's so important for us to really get to the point where we understand that we are the most important person on this lupus journey. We do not have to fake anything for anybody. We do not have to act like, you know, we are superhuman when we're really not. I see that endurance is in the back room. I'm going to bring her up. Endurance, flip your camera around though, because you are sideways. So I'm going to bring Endurance up so you can hear her story. There we go. All right. Here we go. All right. Hey there, Endurance.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Good day.
It's so good to see you. Uh-oh, you're frozen. I'm gonna bring you back up in a moment. Let me push it down and bring it back up. Maybe that'll clear it. Are you back? You gotta love technology. You gotta love it. I can see you, but I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, I can.
Good day. How are you
Can
today?
you? I'm so good. I'm so glad to hear from you. I'm so glad to see your face.
Same here.
And I know it's going to be a little delay, everybody, because Endurance, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Delta State, Nigeria.
Okay, so guys, bear with us. We're talking country to country, country to continent, so it's gonna be a little lag. So just bear with us. We're gonna hear Endurance's story. So Endurance, tell us a little bit about yourself again. I know we spoke maybe what last year, and I know things have changed
Yeah.
since then. So tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us when were you diagnosed and how were you diagnosed with lupus?
Okay, I was diagnosed with lupus in 2010. I was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, so like the last session, it all started with a fever.
Mm.
It all started. It all started with a fever when my mom took me to a nearby clinic for treatment, and I was placed on a 5 days injection. 5 days
Lost your.
injection to complete the treatment, and on the last day,
Hmm. Uh-oh. I think we lost your sound. You're back.
can you hear me?
You want to log
Can
off
you
and
hear
log
me?
back in?
All right, all right.
Maybe that'll clear it up. All right. While Endurance is coming back on, um, I know a little bit of her story. She is from Nigeria, and I know it started out as fever, and it went from there. So as she's coming back up, we're going to learn a little bit more about her in a moment. And this is the best thing about technology, honestly, is that we can discuss and hear people's stories from the other side of the world. And that is so good to me because some places might not have as much resources as what I might have here in the US. So I love to talk to people outside of my own country and give you a perspective of who they are and what their story is like. So sometimes with doing that, um, the connection can come and go. So we're going to wait for her to try and log back on, and then we'll continue talking to her. Um, so if anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to say anything, just let me know and we will say it. I'm going to try and fill the time that we have as we are waiting on Endurance to come back up. We've had a great Lupus Awareness Month. I mean, we've been talking to so many people. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, all the days are going into each other. Yesterday, we had Lauren Leon from CNN. She's a CNN producer. We've had early on in the month, we've had Dr. Blazer, who is a well renowned rheumatologist in New York. We've had different lupus warriors on to discuss their story and to share their heart and to share everything that has gone on with them and to tell us how they overcame it and how they still work to cope with lupus. We've been doing walks, we've been doing all sorts of things for Lupus Awareness Month that I hope that you have been enjoying. One of my favorite parts of Lupus Awareness Month, though, is really talking to lupus warriors and hearing their story and sharing their stories with others. I see Endurance is pulling back up on the back end, so I'm going to keep talking until I see her face pop up, and then I'll bring her back up. So, um, one of the best things I just love to hear people's story because lupus is so different in everybody, but it's somewhat the same. And to see how different people have gone from what they were to where they are today, it really just it encourages my soul and it makes me happy. So I see that Endurance's face is there. So I'm going to bring her back up. We're back.
Yes, and that's what it's messing up.
That works. I can hear you. You're a little spotty, but I can hear you. We'll just take our time with it, okay?
All right. Can you hear me
Okay.
clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right. So as I was saying, it started when I had a fever at night, and my mom took me to a nearby clinic down our street, and I was treated and then placed on 5 days injection. On the last day, a nurse on training
Waiting for your sound to come back. A nurse in training. Just waiting on your sound.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
So that's how the whole lupus thing started.
Right,
The it just I couldn't work with it.
right.
I couldn't work with it. And then when we, as usual, they would want to say they weren't the cause of it. So took me back to the hospital and that her nurse gave me an injection to leg again. She said it wasn't. She just spoke to us rudely and we left. So over the time, my mom would carry me whenever we were going for our Christian meetings, and a few of our Christian brothers and sisters saw my mom carrying me. They asked what was going on. My mom explained everything. So they told her how dangerous that was. They said it could just disfigure my leg and I wouldn't be able to walk with it again. So they two of our Christian brothers followed me and my mom to the women's hospital, and they threatened her. They told her that if she doesn't do anything about it, they were going to make sure her hospital was closed down. So the fear that was instilled in her made her to take action immediately. Then she immediately booked a physiotherapy session in 44 Nigerian Army Hospital. So there I started physiotherapy with Dr. Milafia. So I think after a month of physiotherapy session with Dr. Milafia, my leg got better. I could walk with it again. But at that time, the leg wasn't. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So my body generally was not better. I just kept on getting thinner and thinner by the day. Pressing. There were blisters all over my hand. Joints were getting affected. One time, this part of my hand, and then soon as so the blood doesn't keep flowing,
Hmm.
refused to come down. So felt like it was just affecting my joint. Nobody knew what was happening.
Right.
And he told my mom to go do, and he so some doctors said it was bone cancer, others said it was leprosy. For quite a considerable amount of time, I was being treated for leprosy. I took leprosy drugs for a while
Wow.
until we went to a hospital in Zaria, and then we met a doctor there who treats leprosy. As soon as he saw me, he tore the referral letter. He was so angry. He said, "Who gave us this referral letter that I do not have leprosy?"
Mm-hmm.
and he directed my mom to a bone doctor in Shika, in Ahmedu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Shika. So my mom went there. We saw the doctor, and he really couldn't ascertain what the problem was too at the time. So it was just one test after another, one thing after another, trying to trying to
I can hear you. Ooh, this technology is messing with us today. Can't hear you, Endurance. We are still trying to make sure that you're able to hear her story, so just bear with us. We are going from one end of the world to the other, so sometimes technology doesn't always work well with us. Endurance, I cannot hear you. I think you are on mute. Let me see. Unmute the mic. Let's see. Here we go. How about now? Can you hear me?
can you hear me?
I can now.
All right,
I'm,
so that leprosy doctor, you can hear me, yeah?
yes.
All right. So the leprosy doctor referred us to a bone doctor in the hospital, the teaching hospital in Zaria. So he told us to go to a physiotherapy, to go do physiotherapy, because everything that they saw was being affected were just my joint, my bone, and they couldn't really tell what the problem was. So when we got to the physiotherapy department, they saw that we lived quite far from where the hospital was. So they said it would be better if we went to a physiotherapy, if we went for the physiotherapy somewhere closer. So they directed us back to Kaduna. Kaduna to Zaria is about fairly 2 hours drive. So
Wow.
they said that was too far. So we came back to Kaduna and they referred us to Barodiko Specialist Hospital. So there we went through a series of tests. We went through a series of tests.
Sounds out one more time. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yep.
So I went through a series of physiotherapy sessions with Dr. Egu. So seeing that the physiotherapy was still ongoing and I still wasn't getting better, she referred us to go to the pediatric session of the hospital and see Dr. Ramatu Zuberi. So we went to Dr. Ramatu Zuberi, we waited until she saw us. She saw us that day and she brought out a very big book because my mom had explained so many things that were wrong with me. I couldn't I couldn't sit up on my own. I couldn't walk on my own. My mouths were compressed, the blisters and everything. So she brought out a very big book. So she told my mom that this is not something she could handle
Mm-hmm.
at the time. So she gave us another appointment to come back. She said by then she would have gotten somewhere at least. So the next time we came, she gave us a series of tests to go run. And part of the test was antibodies, SLE antibodies, anti-nuclear. So during that time, actually, can you hear me?
Yep.
So during that time, a lot of people were asking my mom what the problem was, what was wrong with me. So she really couldn't say anything about it. Each time they tell her, she just keeps quiet. She doesn't know what was going on. But then later, when Dr. Ramatu Zuberi gave us the test to go on, when they asked my mom what is wrong with her, she tells them SLE antibodies, anti-nuclear, and we would both
Mm.
laugh at. And my mom would say they wouldn't even know what it is, so let's just tell them like that and go. So it went on like that until we ran the test, and it turned out that I had lupus. So when they found out in time, so she couldn't continue to treat me. To Agbador Hospital. Doctor, she died last year.
Hmm. Wow.
So Dr. Idris treated me since I was a child till I became an adult
Wow.
clinic.
That must have been hard to deal with the doctor who cared for you as a child to not have them around anymore.
It was very hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that people think that we're resilient. Of course we are in our
Can you hear me?
I can
I
hear
think
you
the
now.
network is in.
Yeah, I can hear you. I think people think that we're resilient in our fight, but we still have a lot of things that we deal with that are hard. So, what was one of the hardest things that you had to deal with lupus besides being diagnosed? It took you a little while to be diagnosed. What was one of the hardest things that you've had to deal with lupus thus far?
Having to not being able to do things the way my age group could do. So then I had to stop school for a while because each time I would go to school, I'd be sick. My mom couldn't even let me out of her sight because I couldn't even walk on my own. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I was too weak to even stand up from the bed on my own. So for a while, I had to stop school. So able to play like children my age could. That was wrong. Really, really hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine as a child having to deal with that and then having not to be able to be around your friends and not to be able to go to school, something that you're used to doing as a child. How did that transpose as an adult? Once you started to get stable, was it easier for you to make friends later on, or did you keep the friends that you had as a child?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
How did it transpose from childhood to adulthood? Were you able to make new friends when you were able to be more mobile and get out more? Or was it that you were just hanging still with the friends that you had when you were a child?
The network.
Uh-oh. Can you not hear me?
It's breaking. I can hear you now.
Okay. How in adulthood are you making friends? I'll change the whole that was change the whole statement. How in adulthood have you been able to make friends dealing with the different things that lupus can put you through?
Well, making friends has been quite easy for me as an adult. I really don't have an issue with making friends, although I keep my circle very small. I just have the few genuine people around me that really love me for who I am. So making friends I've been able to keep my friendship for the longest time. So my friend Mary, we were friends since I was ill. So at the time we she relocated from where I was, and now she's back and we're
Oh,
still
good.
together. So
I love it.
still
I love that. I love that. So that's she's become again part of your support system. Okay, now I can hear the dog in the background, so now I think I can hear you. So she's become part of your new support system because she's back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. So she's become kind of your support system as well now that she's back, correct?
Definitely, definitely. She's such a great friend. She checks up on me regularly. She does things for me. I'm always happy around her. She and other few of my friends, they're really, really great.
It's always so good to have a good friend. It helps.
Yes,
It, it
definitely.
it it helps you so much in this journey. Miss Bossy
Yes, and
says she says that's unfortunate. I'm glad you were able to get the results. She's battling multiple sclerosis and lupus 16 years ago. There was no way to determine. Now giving blood is beneficial. Absolutely. Absolutely. What are your now that you're a little bit older, what are your coping mechanisms for dealing with lupus?
I have learned to listen to my body.
Mm,
Over the time, I really didn't know how to deal with lupus because if I do not tell you that I have lupus, you really wouldn't know that I have lupus because I do not look it. So I just, because I want to do things the way everybody does, even when I'm tired, I keep on pushing. I still want to do it until I break down. But now I've learned to listen to my body and just
very important to listen to your body and understand what's going on. Absolutely. Bear with us, guys. We're working it out.
rest. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so when I'm tired, I just leave whatever I'm doing, try to rest. Even if it's just 30 minutes at least, it will help me regain myself back. Even if I still wake up tired, at least I have been able to rest my head for a bit.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I just try to keep anybody that brings bad energy, negative energy to my life. If you're someone that does not bring positivity into my life, I try to stay away from those people because it affects my mental health. So I've learned how to cope with lupus, and ever since then, it has really been helping me cope.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's good because you don't only have to protect your physical body, you also have to protect your mental space and your emotional well-being. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. 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 What resources have been most helpful for you as you walk on this lupus journey?
Can you hear me?
I can now. I'm going to put the question on the screen and then maybe that'll make it easier. But we did hear that you say that listening to your body is very important, and that is definitely a great coping skill. I guess the next question that I have is what resources have you used to help you on your lupus journey? Yep, and we lost her. Sorry, guys. I I guess it's a good problem to have. It's a great problem to have that the technology is just not working for us today, and that's fine. If she comes back on, then we'll get her back. But the last thing that she stated was really important, and that's to listen to your body and to make sure that you have the right people in your space, to limit that stress and to be able to cope with lupus in that way. So I thank y'all for being so patient. It's technology is so funky sometimes, and when you're communicating from one end to the other, it can get a little spotty. So I'm hoping that she will be able to come back up. If not, we will find another way to get her story to you all and have you all really take a look at it and understand that she's a very strong individual. Last time we were on with endurance, I believe she gave us a song too. So I'm hoping that she comes back on and that we're able to hear her once again. So, yeah, listening to your body is definitely key, and it's important to make sure that you're not keeping all of those things that stress you out. You know, people with negative energy, people that don't understand your fight, or people who are bent on misunderstanding what you're going through. And we know a lot of people that just don't understand lupus can sometimes be just try to misunderstand everything that you say about lupus and everything that you're going through and try and minimize it. So you want to make sure that you're definitely keeping a good circle around you that helps you, uplift you, empower you, encourage you, as opposed to bringing you down or trying to change what you're doing in your treatment regimen. So I love the point that Endurance made about keeping the negative people out of your life and making sure that you are doing everything well for your body by listening to your body. That was an awesome, awesome point. I see that she is coming back on in the back room, and I will wait to see her face once again so we can bring her back up. So I hope that you are enjoying this session because even though we're having some issues, I love that I'm in the United States and that she is in Nigeria, and we can still share her story. We can still have a conversation, and we can still support one another in our lupus journey. So I see her face, and here we go. And we're back. I know the
Sorry,
lag is
network is messing up.
no, that's not a problem at all. Not a problem. That's technology for you. So tell me, what resources have you used to help you on your lupus journey?
Well, I can say that my family has been my greatest resource. They have
Mm,
always been there for me. They provide. Dealing with lupus is it's no small case. It consumes a lot of money, and they have always been there to provide it for me. Each time I go to see my doctor on the appointment, they are always there to provide me with medication. They are always there to make sure that I'm okay.
I can hear you now.
All right.
You were saying
My
that your
family
family is.
understands me.
Mhm.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I was hearing you, but now you're gone. Yikes!
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you were saying that your family understands and helps you the most.
Yes, yes. I know how tiring it can be caring for a sick person, especially when it involves so much money. But they have never really expressed
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
So they have never really expressed how much discomfort they face for my sake. All they just show me is how much they just want me to get better. And that's a can you
In and out. No, I cannot hear you.
can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. So they make me know that with my family I am in a safe place. So my family has been my greatest resource so far.
I love that. I love that. Because most people will probably say somewhere outside of it, outside of the household, but I love that your family has become your biggest resource and your biggest support. Masamari says, endurance, you're one strong person. Really, I pray you never ever let go of this fight. You are sure winning it soon. Thank you. That's a great, great comment. I love that comment. I love that comment. Endurance, what advice would you give lupus warriors to stay uplifted?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What advice would you give lupus warriors to stay uplifted?
You know, when when I was diagnosed of lupus, I was diagnosed as a child and I didn't know what lupus was. So it didn't give me so much scare. I didn't understand it at the time. In fact, I was even relieved that finally they know what is wrong with me. I feel if I was diagnosed with lupus as an adult, I probably would not be able to make it because I would go online, search what lupus is, see the scary things online, and then that would scare me a lot. And then I'd be like, oh my,
Mm.
I feel the first thing that you should do is can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So if you're someone that has been diagnosed with lupus as an adult, I feel the first thing is do not go ahead reading so much about it. You're only going to get so scared and downhearted. Just go with what the doctors tell you because can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I remember my mom and I always asking late Dr. Hafsat Idris what exactly lupus was. We kept on asking her, and she made sure to keep all information away because, according to her, she doesn't want us to keep on feeding our minds on what lupus is. Our mind helping me get, should be how to help me get better. So if you're someone with lupus, rather than go online and try to read things that would scare you and make you feel like you're going to die soon,
just do not read about it. Do not read about it so much. Know what is wrong with you. Know your coping mechanisms. Know how to deal with it, but do not read so much about it. Even now, if I go online and I try to read about lupus, it really weighs me down. It weighs me down a lot. So I've learned to just not put my mind into it so much. Know
I
exactly what
love
works for
that.
you. If you know, because I've also noticed that going out in the sun affects lupus patients a lot because it affects me too. So if you know going out in the sun affects you, do not go out in the sun. Try to schedule your activities in a way that you wouldn't have to get in contact with the sun. Because if you go out in the sun and you get exposed to the sun,
She'll come back in a minute, guys. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
I can.
So try to make friends with people that are positive, people that understand what you are going through and know what they need to do to keep you in that positive state. Take your doctor's appointments seriously. Take your medications seriously. It's not very easy to take drugs every day of your life, but if that is what helps you feel better, just do not skip it. Try to take it all the time. And I feel with all of that, continue to pray to God. Know that God is always there for you and He will continue to take care of us. He has been taking care of me for this long, and I know He would continue to do that, and He will do that for all of us as well. So just do these things and keep yourself in a positive mood all the time.
Absolutely. I love that. I love everything that you just stated. And it really makes sense. It really is heartfelt and definitely something that we all need to be doing. Definitely. Definitely. I know it's getting a little late where you are. I have one more question for you. And I don't know if we'll be able to do it this time. Last time we had you give us a song because we were asking what your fight song was. So has your fight song changed since the last time we spoke?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
I said last time we had you have a song for us, and it might be hard because the connection is so poor. But have you changed your fight song, or is it the same from last time? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What is a quote or a song that's still making you strong in your fight?
Rise Up. My song still remains the same. I've always loved that song for a really long time.
Absolutely. I had a feeling that you were going to
I
say that.
really, really love that song for a long time. So I sing that song in my head a lot. I sing it in my head a lot. I keep telling myself I will rise up in spite of the aches. So I just keep singing that song. It really, really strengthens me. I love that song a lot.
That's a favorite of mine as well. Last time you sung it for us. I
Yes.
love it.
And I
I
rise up, I rise like the day, I rise up. In spite of the aches, I rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
I love
It's
it.
such a beautiful song that I love to sing a lot.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I always love to speak to you, and I love your beautiful smile and your heartfelt
Thank you
and
so much.
strong. and resilient story. And I want to thank you. I know it's getting late there. It's almost 4 o'clock here, so it's what, almost 9 o'clock there. And I want to be respectful
Yes,
of your
yes.
time. Do you have anything else that you want to
Sorry?
share with? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you have anything else you would like to share with us about your lupus journey? Can you hear me now?
Network bad.
Is there anything else you'd like to share, Endurance?
Oh, I would just love to say thank you to the many beautiful people in my life. I just want to say thank you to my family, to all my friends that have been really, really helpful and helped me stay strong till this time. I just want to say thank you to all of them. And I love all of them so, so much. Thank you to my mom, because my mom has been my number one. She has been my greatest support, and I love her so, so much. And to all my brothers and sisters, I love them so much. All my friends, I love them so, so much. I just want to say thank you to everybody. And thank you too for the opportunity to share my story to everyone. And I just hope that a lot of people are uplifted hearing my story and seeing me thrive beyond lupus.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much, Endurance. Even through all of the even through all of the challenges that we've had with technology, you have endured. And someone said that endurance is the perfect name for you, that you live up to it. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It was nice having this discussion with you.
Yes, and I will reach out to you because I have something else that I want you to do for me.
All right.
Thank you, Endurance. Thank you for sharing your heart and your story with us.
I'm glad I did. Thank you too. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll chat soon. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Endurance's story. Look, technology is difficult, huh? Even though it was spotty at some points, the parts that you could hear were of straight great relevance for what you need to hear today. So thank you, Endurance. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and bearing with us as we deal with the challenges that we had with the internet and everything like that. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been In the Loop with Lupus in Color. Lupus Live with Endurance from Nigeria. And I hope that we will be able to bring her story even in a different way. She's such a positive person and she's such a sweet spirit. So I definitely want you to see more of her and hear more of her story. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we'll be back on the 28th, where where we will be having the video Beyond Lupus. If you want to be in that video, hit me up at lupusincolor@gmail.com. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye bye.